The weather forecast for every morning this week has been completely clear blue skies, no cloud whatsoever. Of course, sometimes the weather forecast is wrong, but the only way to find out is to go out. So that's what I decided to do. I just picked a day and I'm now out. I'm at Guadamar del Segura, down by the marina. But I do think the weather forecast is right because it doesn't look like there's any clouds. It's about an hour and 5 minutes until sunrise. I'm going to head out onto the big harbour wall and see if there's many people around and see if maybe there's some blue hour shots to be done there. See what else we can do, and I might even end up coming back and doing something in the marina once the sun comes up. I hope you'll enjoy the video. If you do and you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe before you go. Okay, I've come out onto the harbour wall and I'm actually doing a long exposure shot all the way down it. Now there are some people that have just arrived to go out and go fishing, so I'm actually going to probably do maybe even 3 or 4 shots to try and avoid having them sort of in one place in the frame, so it's easier to take them out later. I'm not honestly sure this is going to work because there's a boat which I couldn't even really see, to be honest, until I took the first image, but it's kind of moored just off the far side there. And the problem with that is, of course, the boat's moving just very slightly, so it's all blurry. So typically, as soon as I moved, so did that boat that was causing me the problems. But there's still lots of people out on that breakwater. Now what I've done is I've come up onto the sand dunes that overlook the scene. I've switched over to the 55 to 200, and at 55 mil, from this vantage point, I can fit pretty much the whole of it's almost it's kind of an L shape, and then there's a bit that comes off to one side, and I can fit all of that in, and it makes quite a pleasing shape. Fairly nice tones in the background. And we've actually got some quite nice water patterns coming in. At the moment I'm only shooting at about an 8-second exposure. It's getting that bright that quickly, probably because of the lack of cloud cover. But it's a nice scene, so hopefully it will work. I'm going to try and capture a shot with the light on in the little light marker, little lighthouse at the end. But there's also some other lights on there. There's people with like flashing lights, which I think might be because they're fishing, or it might be on a bicycle, I don't know. I think I'm going to go for a slightly wider shot. Not sure if 22 mil is going to be too wide. I might have to go for the 15 to 45. I've gone for the 15 to 45 lens, about 33 mil, something like that, I would guess. I've got the beach in front of me, kind of sweeps in from the bottom right corner of the frame all the way round, almost out of the frame on the left hand side, and then it goes, the harbour wall goes out and across, and then we've got the sky in the background. Now what I've actually done here, I've gone to f8 and ISO 400, which lets me get a quarter of a second, because there is people moving around and they'll be moderately sharp at that. plus it creates quite a nice effect on the waves coming in. Well, I might have to do a slightly shorter exposure for the sky because it is just blowing out a fraction, I think. It's probably recoverable because of the raw file, but I prefer to play it safe. Come out a bit further along the breakwater, harbour wall, whatever it is, and I'm considering a shot here. I've got to be honest, I'm not 100% convinced it's going to work. The harbour wall kind of curves in from the bottom left. Let's see if we can get that about right. From the bottom left and then out and around and back out to the left again. There's some tones in the sky and there's a bit of a gap between the end of the harbour wall and the landscape in the background. I'm toying with the idea of a long exposure. Okay, we've got a few minutes before sunrise, so I think I am going to pop on a filter. Okay, 10 stop filter on. I've gone over to manual focus to make sure my focus is locked. I'm going to use my touch shutter and we'll try a minute. Should be seeing sunrise in about 2 or 3 minutes, so I've decided to stay here for the actual sunrise. But what I've done is I've zoomed in to about 22 millimeters. I've still got the sweep of the harbour wall going around. I've still got the little lighthouse at the end. I've still got the gap between the landscape, between that and the landscape. But I've taken the filters off. At the moment I've got F11, ISO 100, 1/25th of a second, and when that sun just peaks up over the horizon, it does look like there's some haze out there that might block it. It's a job to tell, but there's just a possibility of a sun star, so I'm going to be ready. Oh, it's coming up now. It happens really fast. I'm going to do one at a 16th of a second, sorry, F16. Just to see if we get a sun star. I don't think we're going to get a sun star even at F16. Jet ski going out's kind of broken up the tranquility of the scene a bit, but the sun was well up before that came around. So I think on this part I'm finished. I'm going to go back now and see if I can get maybe a couple of images somewhere around the marina, just to wrap the morning up nicely. Okay, something a bit different. Got a nice big moon up there, and I'm photographing it with the top of a mast of the boat coming up into the scene, which is actually catching some nice early morning light. Like I say, something a bit different. Okay, so the marina is quite nice, but it's not always the easiest thing to shoot, I think, because the backdrop isn't always that nice. There's sort of apartment buildings over that side. There's sort of more, not industrial, but sort of machinery-based stuff. This view that I've got here is looking down 2 rows of boats, and at the end there's a restaurant, which is actually a boat built up on a platform, and all the tables and that are underneath it, which I have photographed before from a different angle, but I just thought that makes for a nicer backdrop. I mean, way off in the distance there's some mountains, but I don't think you'll be able to see those. 22mm, and I'm putting the centre line across the middle because we've got reflections of the boats, we've got all the masts going up. I'm trying to be careful about the positioning of the masts. There's quite a nice glow to the scene. I might hang on a few seconds because the sun's coming up over there, starting to blind me, so it might just put a little bit of extra light across this side, which will make it a bit better. Okay, I think that's me done for today. Time to head for home before it starts to get too warm. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have and you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe before you go. Thank you very much for watching, and until next week, bye.